Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Ken Faulkner, and I'm here with a knife video, one knife video. I've been doing these big monster collection type things. Trying to keep it manageable, trying to hold into that half hour range. But I think I'm gonna take a break. I remember last time I was getting ready for Blade Show, Texas. I think it was Texas. I was doing a bunch of these uh, knives from the collection. Since normally I'll do like single knife type videos, but they're usually when I'm getting something in. Um, but when I'm doing the Faulkner Five, and I'm not buying knives for Blade Show right now. So I kind of have to be a little more creative. So that's where you're getting some of these collection videos and older knives and things like that. So this one here is the beginning of sort of the beginning of an era of Casey Knives Fast. From Tempest Knives, starting to move from being just a YouTuber to designing knives, and a lot of people have done that now. He's not the only one, but he has really done a good job. It's a little rocky start at first. A lot of you guys know that the Mach 51 was like a Kickstarter. I don't know if it was on Kickstarter, but something like that. It's some kind of a starter type crowdfunding thing that I thought for sure when he was putting it out and showing it, I was super jazzed about it. I really liked it, and I thought for sure I better get on that because it's going to get snatched up really fast. And so I was eager and ready. A little more expensive than some of these other ones. This is the Pinion, and this was the one that came after the Mach 51, and the Mach 51 never actually happened. So in reality, the crowdfunding didn't go through, and Casey took a step back. Fortunately, he did not say, I'm just going to give up. It's just not going to work out. He kept to it. He kept to it, and he adjusted. He kind of analyzed the situation. He's got his kind of finger on the pulse, being such a big part of the community. Does a lot of lives, gets a lot of feedback from people, and has a lot of friends in the community. So I think he kind of looked at what it was that caused it, and kind of adjusted, and it was great. So this pinion is I can't remember if the Mach 51 was somewhere in the 250 to $300 range, something like that. It was up there. It was definitely up there. I may be not remembering it correctly, but he felt like people, for one thing, it had that airplane look, and he thought that was putting people off. And I think the price range, clearly, because he dropped this stuff down. So the Pinion came out $82, and for me, that's like budget for me. A lot of people, it's not quite budget, but it's not totally out of the realm for many. It's more of of expense for them, but they're willing to do it, especially to support somebody we love in the community. You know, other than watching videos and being there in lives and all the great stuff that we do in the community, but sometimes coming out for those YouTubers when they put themselves out and put out a product. And when it's been my experience, I haven't gotten all the knives from everybody. Certainly can't. I crack up when unprofessional dad says he wants to have every knife that was ever made, or something like that. He wants them all. He wants everyone. And from the years of collecting and wanting and always having a list, I know that even just the ones that I am heavily craving, that are just speaking to me, it's hard to get them all. Certainly, like ones like this, that yeah, I mean, it didn't sell out immediately. It was there for a while. So it wasn't like 5 minutes after it drops, everything sold. And so it was a little bit easier to get. And I was definitely loving the price, and the design was similar to the Mach 51. really great action. I mean, so Casey handles a lot of knives, and so he knows what he likes. Obviously, what he likes isn't always going to fit with what I like or what anybody likes. We all have different opinions on knives, but some of us are quite similar in what we like. I really this checks a lot of boxes for me. The you got it like a non-flipper. That's something that's kind of me. Not even a little flipper. It almost looks like it's got a flipper. Let me push down on it. Can you flip it? No, because it doesn't stick out. I like the middle finger flick, and I know I've heard several people that just don't like it. They're more the thumb stud with a thumb, or a flipper, or whatever. And so that's where we're going in different directions. This one happened to be in the direction that I liked, and certainly I'm pretty sure I'm getting so much better at this thumb. Yeah, thumb in a slot. I mean, thumb with the thumb stud is pretty easy, but once I realized that I don't want to dig my thumb in like I do the middle finger flick, you really want to dig your fingernail underneath there. And one of the things I think that messes people up is how to hold the knife, and you kind of get the feel for it. Sometimes I'll put this finger on the clip, and sometimes kind of looking like Spider-Man. Spider-Man when he's like shooting his webs. It's a little like that, and it's interesting because of the Spyderco connection, right? So these are the fingers I have out here, kind of pointing in the direction I want the knife to go, and I get some pressure and some buildup on here, and just flick it out, and it's become supernatural. Not supernatural, very natural for me to do, and it's like I can grab a knife out of my pocket and do it without really thinking about it. It's that muscle memory thing that you gotta have to develop. I mean, I'm getting better with the front flips, and I'm getting better with over the tops and things like that I still struggle with. And I work on my left hand too. I mean, I know some people are really good at this, but I can nail it sometimes. And so and usually I have to give it a little wrist. It's harder under the camera, obviously, but yeah. I mean, but left-handed is not as good. But I practice all this stuff just for fun, just to get the skill down, And when you get it down, it feels really good. Speaking of feeling good, it's great in the hand. It's ergos are fantastic. It's got a nice stone wash on there. I like a stone wash. For the longest time, a lot of people were doing the bead blast, and it looks good, but then there's that issue of whether or not, if there's a little corrosion, certainly with a D2 blade, then you're going to end up with problems with that bead blast. Stone wash seems to work really well, and it's got a great look to it. You see it right there. I like slots for deployment. It's probably my favorite, or hole. But a slot's good because you got lots of room, and if it's not too deep, sometimes it's too deep, and your finger kind of gets caught up in there, and as it's coming out, it'll hold the knife back. It'll get kind of stuck almost. But this is nice and shallow. Plus, he's got a little additional fuller, so you can get down lower. I mean, some people like to do like these multi-finger flicks. I don't know if I can get it with a pinky. Can people do that? Almost. But people will do it, with try to get all their fingers and do it with that. But I mean, the middle finger for me is the more natural one. This one works fairly well, but it doesn't kind of hit as hard. It's always fun, and it gives you that better sound and the better feel. Wire clip, yeah. I don't know. There's another thing that there's different people like different things, and wire clip has always been. I mean, I don't really see the reason why people. I don't even mind the look of it. Some people don't like the look of it. I know a lot of milled clips can be way cooler aesthetically, way cooler. So wire clip is kind of limited with it's got that kind of U shape, and then the only thing that's different is how you do the contact onto the scale and how you do the little lip where you're getting your stuff in. But it feels really good. Like those folded metal clips, a lot of times will be the hotspot thing that everybody's talking about because it's got kind of edges on it. But these are round all the way around because it's a wire. This is just the way it is. And then, the milled clips you tend to have less because a lot of times they'll round off the edges of them. And they can look better for sure. But I think this and like those bent metal clips, I mean, I think they look equally good for sure, and I think this has got some advantages in the fact that it's a little smoother in the pocket. Seems to hold pretty well. Um, so I like it, but I'm not telling you that if you're not a fan of them that you need to change your ways because you're wrong at all. Casey's got his spoked wheel sort of thing there, because he's into cars and planes, and I think it's cool. He's kept that. I think on some of the newer ones he might have. Can't remember if he's done something different with the pivot, but early on for sure I like that a lot. He's using 14C28 in here, which is great steel for keeping the price down into that budget range. He likes to just put his logo right here up in the corner. It's such a good place to be able to have it there. So, if you forgot whose knife it is, like I would do. But it doesn't have a lot of branding, and it doesn't really, stick out bad. I think he's doing most of his stuff with Kubi. I know he did concept with the Fractus, but a lot of his Kubi stuff has worked out really well. He's gone through all the challenges with working with. It's almost like dating somebody long distance, right? It's not easy to do stuff like that, back and forth, language barriers or whatever. And the knife companies have things that they are willing to try and things that they aren't willing to try. And I think KC has kind of pushed their boundaries a little bit and kind of helping them to be a better company. And Kubi is a good company. I've always liked Kubi. It's got this inset liner lock, so you don't have to worry about lock bar thing, but you do get the actual detent ball, which Casey likes, and I definitely agree with him on that. I have to say, I am a fan of that. Sometimes you get other locks like the pivot locks, or certainly the top liner lock type stuff. You get that same detent, but then, and even on crossbar locks and stuff like that, if they get the spring just right, I've had them that have a decent snap out, and that's really what we're looking for. It doesn't necessarily have to be a detent ball, but you want something where, as you're putting the pressure on it before it flicks, you're building up that inertia, and then it pops, and then because it's built up, and then it breaks that hold, it goes out fast and gives you a great feel, great sound. This guy's G10, right? Yeah, G10. Got the blue in honor of OKC because he likes blue, and I like it too. So it's not just for him. I like that it's got that reverse tanto. I'm bringing it back, guys. I like the reverse tanto, but I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. Again, I love everybody's got different opinions. Opinions. Pun not intended. Reversible clip. Now he's big on the reversible, so you're gonna expect him to be doing the reversible, unless like the company he was working with will say, "Oh, we can't do it here or can't do it there or whatever." There are some limitations. He got ridden by people on the jimping on this one. There's no jimping here. It's got a little thumb ramp, but no jimping. And people, I remember, people like to kid with him, and he kids back too. About stuff in the lives, and yeah, this is the thing. He didn't feel like it needed jimping, and I'm okay with it personally. You can choke up a little bit here. It's got kind of because it doesn't have a flipper. There's nothing to get in the way here. It works well, but it feels really good back here. Full finger grip. Let's get into some measurements real quick. And these tend to be quicker videos, but I do tend to kind of blab on. 4.5 inches on the handle. We got 3 1/4. That seems to be kind of like almost a sweet spot for his designs. Definitely doing that a lot. Something in that area. Some are bigger, some are smaller. Let's look at some thicknesses here. Get some zeros going here. So it's right around that 1/2 inch, so that's pretty typical. Thickness here is right about an 1/8 inch, so that's pretty typical. So he's not like pushing the boundaries that much. He's kind of like just right in the sweet spot, really. I would say height here almost an inch, 0.9. That's almost an inch. Probably up here is thicker, so it's about an inch. And the blade as well is about an inch-ish at the thickest, tallest part of the blade. It's a not fully flat. You got this little flat, you got a secondary bevel and a flat up here, but very slicey. So throw some paper on the steel here and see what happens. Of course, I've had this for a long time. Not a new knife, and it's not available anymore unless he brings it back. I know Devo likes to do their V2s and stuff like that. Casey really hasn't done much of that. This one looks like it could use a new edge, but that's not anything to do with how it was from the factory. It's more how much I've used this knife and not been on the sharpening thing. But it cuts well. I mean, I usually will. I'm not cutting paper all the time. It's mostly boxes or whatever comes up during the day. And once it starts to show that it can't do what I want it to do, on my EDC type cutting, then that's when I'll sharpen it, right? Let's get the scale out. And 0. And there we go. Let's see what we got. Not too heavy, I don't think. 3.8, 3.7. So not quite the inch to inch or ounce to inch on the blade, but 3.8 is not bad at all. This does have steel liners that are inset. I know Casey just mentioned that on a video I watched recently, where he says he likes that. I think he was one of the other companies that normally doesn't do that. Oh yeah, it was on the Civivi on the Mini Praxis. He was pointing it out, and I could go either way, but it is kind of nice to make it a little bit thinner and still have the hefty liners in there with holes. Got some weight relief, so he's hitting it all. What do we got? The sharpening choil maybe a little tight here. That maybe could have been improved, but like I say, I'm not sharpening as much as a lot of people. I'm not like always having to keep it at the keenest edge. So I don't really run into that problem as much. I'm not sure how Casey does his stuff, if he's similar to me, where he's not worrying about how much metal he's taking off as fast. But I do love this knife. Very nice. Casey, great job. Man, the Downdraft. Part of what makes me want to do this video is because the Downdraft, I want that knife. And I've wanted it, and it didn't drop until after I was into the Faulkner 5 and not buying. And I've been kind of, kind of begging in a way, trying to be like cool about it, but like saying, hey, are you going to bring some of those to Blade Show? So that's what I'm betting on, but I am not, I'm not gonna my life won't be ruined if he doesn't bring any. He seemed like he was uncertain or not willing to quite commit. It's always great to be able to go to these booths and actually be able to buy something rather than just looking at prototypes. Sometimes that's the way it ends up being, though. That it's just window shopping. But I do like to have that option to buy. Because I did see the Downdraft. I did have it in my hand at an earlier show, and I told him, and then this is the one I want to buy. And so if I don't get it, yeah, I'm going to probably have to be looking for one on the secondary. It's really something I'm after. And that one got snapped up really fast. So, all right, guys. Yeah, we're almost 20 minutes, even on these short one knife videos. But we did go through a lot of things. I hope you like this. I know, just like styles of YouTube channels and what people like and what people don't like. Some people aren't going to like the one knives as much as the big collections, and other people are going to be vice versa. I kind of like them both, so I'm kind of going to go back and forth a little bit. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope you're having a great weekend, Saturday for me, and I'll see you on the next one.